Under the same moon, we share the love, embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. And now do we stand in love's pure might, watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to Watching the World. We're back, still at Nancy Guthrie's home. I just had my television interview, so I'm back to streaming again. Back at it again, folks. It seems that we haven't made any progress, but they are searching now. We haven't seen any searching, but they claim that they're out searching the neighborhood again. Apparently not this street. I did a drive recently. I did not see any activity. In fact, I haven't seen any police officers at all, so I'm not sure what they mean, but we'll find out, I guess. Things are skimming out around here. What's happening? We have my Melody. Greetings. Judy, how are you? Cece, hello. Thank you guys for all subscribing. Thank you so much. Eric, what's happening? Eric, what's going on? All right, Nina, hello, thank you. The deep fake report, I saw a message come in from you, a comment or something. I didn't get a chance to read it as I was preparing to do this, but I'll check it out. Yeah, Mel is back. Yes, indeed. Back to finish out the day. Jimmy Leon, welcome in. Thank you. Thanks for subscribing. Christy, hello, Holly. Oh, man, somebody sent the super chat. Thank you very much. Let's see if I can see who did that. Bear with me. Oh, this is so difficult here. Okay, here we go. CB, thank you very much. Came to say thank you for your coverage. Thank you so much. What a beautiful way to do so. Thank you, Jacqueline. Hello, shout out to you, Jacqueline. How are you? So, we're going to just do a little tour here as we start off, just to get a little update. It's been a hot day, a really, really hot day, guys. So, this is Nancy Guthrie's home. We're ground live here. This is her front door. This is where allegedly most of the activity went down that day. Although, at this point, we only know what happened when the person approached the door and perhaps the camera went away. But you can see there's a deadbolt. And she also has a keyed front door. And from this vantage point, you don't see any damage to the door. I've installed so many doors in my lifetime, so it's very difficult to break into that door. And if you went through the back door, why on earth would you spend time at the front door going through all the trouble, right? Why? By the time they realize that there's a person, they said 212, and by 228, 212 was the motion outside. By 228, she's gone. So that's about how many minutes, folks? In those 16 minutes, you have enough time to go through the back door. Now you got to break in if it's not open. Do you have time for all that? Or did she simply open the door for someone that she recognized their voice? Or maybe they said police, or maybe they had pre-recorded somebody's voice. I do not know. But the question remains, because that's where the blood is, right? 16 minutes, and keep in mind that 16 minutes is connecting from the phone. So that means it's kind of like with your Bluetooth. As you move away from it, it disconnects. That's a lot for 16 minutes. Everything is leaning toward the front door, but that's just my 2 cents. We don't know. All right, there you go. Okay, so today they put in the barricades, turned this into a one-way street. I heard a lot of neighbors somehow they were furious about this one-way street business, but you can see the wisdom behind it because it's just too much going on, too much traffic as a one-way street. I mean, as a two-way street, so it makes sense. It makes totally good sense. Okay, I'm gonna get back to the comments in a second, guys. But we're gonna do a little touring here. Okay, so as you can see, the flowers have broadened, and it's probably a little bit more since I showed it to you guys last. Nancy made this light guide you. She actually put a light. If you touch the light in the middle, it turns on. You are missed. Okay. All right. Bring Nancy home. Nobody is holding your mother's hostage. Okay. It says, Nancy, please come home. Everybody wants her to come home, but not more than her children and grandchildren. Tomorrow is going to be a big search day, including the local community. So that should be quite interesting. I'm not sure which areas or how organized it will be, but tomorrow is going to be a big search day. Sunday search, I guess they could call it. Sunday search, folks. So much traffic coming through. Okay. All right, all right. So many flowers. These ladies came today and they put the flyers out. One thing couldn't understand is I don't know if any of you had the chance to check out the video I did of driving here, right? To show you guys the drive, get a sense of what it's like. I know that helped me. Because even when you do it online, you have to keep clicking. You know, I try to give you guys a realistic view for those who want to see it. If you go and watch the video, you'll see the easiest route out of here. Everything else is very complicated, and you would have to really know it because it's just like a maze around here, right? It's quite the maze. So if you check out that video, I think it'll help you size up the area and get a feel for, what everybody's trying to understand. Folks. But nobody knows what happened to Nancy. And at this point, either I would say they know or they really, really don't know. Because things are awfully quiet around here. It's so quiet. So sometimes, a lot of these cases, it takes 40 days. Remember the other day, the sheriff said it could be 10 days or whatever, or a year or whatever. So, but that's scary when you're trying to figure out where your loved one is, right? Yeah. Yeah, there's so many philosophies and people trying to figure it out. There's so much floating around. And then on top of that, you don't hear from Nancy. Well, unless it happened today, you don't really hear from her. It's been quite some time, almost a week now. right? What does that mean? You know, has there been proof of life? Those are real questions, folks. Real questions. People traveling from afar. I thought I came far. There's some people here that have been traveling um, just to come and show some support. Yeah. Take care. Thank you. The real deal is nobody knows. Nobody has a clue. Maybe the feds, maybe the sheriff. You know, the weird thing is, usually the feds, the sheriff, they continue to tell people new things to look for, and it'd be really desperate about it. We haven't seen that lately. A vehicle, don't they usually will give you a vehicle, right? But we don't have a vehicle. We don't have a vehicle at all, folks. Why is that the case? Do we have headlights? If you don't have headlights anywhere, everywhere you go around here, there's cameras at intersections. Neighbors have ring cameras, but from afar, I kept hearing that you can't really see. I wonder if people make things up. They're like, oh, at nighttime, the houses are so far from the road, you can't really see lights even. Like, what are they talking about? I've showed you guys the houses. You can literally throw a rock on the front porch. So what does that mean? What does it mean? Hmm, not sure. But the media is starting to dwindle, and I just heard that the family was alerted that the big corporation, I don't want to say their name, but they won't be able to cover it as much going forward. So, because this means the lights are starting to dim, at least from the media. I mean, they're complaining about YouTubers, and there are days coming when they wish anybody would be out here if they don't find it anytime soon. There's Brian Ensign, guys. You probably see him on there all the time. Brian Ensign. He's been out here every day. Wow. Okay, so find a secure place, and then we'll start addressing some of the comments here. Okay, Mel needs a chair. All right, thank you. Miss Magoo. Okay. Let's don't bring up Trump, please. Okay. What is Trump being brought up for? Okay, peace and serenity. I see you on JLR stream. Okay, thank you. AI, that Trump voice was AI. Oh, okay. I don't know what the Trump story is about. I didn't bring up Trump. You know, I'm so tired. I don't even know what I said, honestly. Okay, Ann says, okay, Mel needs a chair. Michelle says they shouldn't be talking media about family being involved if it's not true. Good words, good words. Christy, the lady at 5800 was talking about kidnapping a couple days before Nancy was kidnapped. I told the FBI. Wow. Christy, could you explain more? I would like to know about that. Can you send me an email? Could one of the moderators put in the email address, Tammy? Hey, Tammy. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you for coming over. I really do appreciate it. Judy, is that because of what Trump said? Well, he did say we have to move on. And from that point on, we've seen people leave ex Bailey while mainstream media is leaving. Susie says cartel. Uh, I don't think. Listen, right now Donald Trump is the president of the United States. If you don't know that, right? I don't think they would try to do anything that would get his attention because that's the worst thing that can happen to you if you do something that raises Donald Trump's attention because he's going to come after you. Believe that. And when he says go get them, they're going to come and get you. I sit in the courtroom with Nicolas Maduro, and I also saw before I sat in court behind him and saw him come in apprehended, I saw him talking junk. And he messed around and found out what Donald Trump can do. So I don't think the cartel want that kind of energy right now, but I don't know. Who knows, right? I mean, I'm not saying cartel, just anybody. Someone did ask about the cartel. I don't know much about it, but okay. Okay, Stella X Belly. Okay. Okay, CB says I moved away from mainstream media to just YouTube news. Okay, we cover the news every day when I'm not covering cases. So I've been covering court cases and then I came here. So when I get back to New York, it's back to news at noon. That's my show. But right now, this week I'm covering the Clintons. I'll be at the Clintons' home. So I'll have to leave here, regroup for a couple of days. I'm going to be vulnerable for a moment. I keep waking up on New York time, so I can't even get into sleep while I'm here. I wake up, I'm an early riser anyway, but even here, I can't even, I'm getting up even earlier. It's crazy. So I'll get back for a couple of days and then I'll be at Bill Clinton's house, him and Hillary. So I've met Bill Clinton before, so that won't be a new thing for me. Yeah, so I'll be at their home. I've been to their home before, so just how to get there. But we'll be covering that this week. So I will be leaving at some point to cover the Clintons. They're having their deposition. I'll be there. Peace and serenity. Do you think it will be solved? My philosophy about this case is something that no one has ever. My real philosophy about this case is something that I've never heard. And based on my philosophy, that's a tough question. But quite frankly, yeah, I don't want to say the wrong thing. But yeah, I'll leave it there. I don't want my philosophy of this case would probably get me in hot water. So I better be quiet. Okay, let's see, Judy. That's what was reported by the BBC. Okay, thank you. Pretty Things is in the building. I don't think someone her age can live this long without having a decent meal to eat or even clean water to drink. Okay, this case, right? Man, I have to speak in some sort of code because I can't say what I want to say. Um, I don't think this case, man, oh man, boy, I have to be careful what I say. This case is not about money, I don't think. I think what someone wanted, let's see if I can illustrate it. You ever heard the expression, never let them see you sweat? And so sometimes people want to see you sweat because of maybe a mistake you made, right? And so everybody's thinking ransom, all that stuff, but they're not really going into politics, which I think it gets into politics. I'll leave it at the politics and leave it alone. But I think, yeah, I'll leave it alone. All right, let's see. I mean, when this first happened, you notice people were starting to talk about, Oh, she interviewed such and such. She was the first one to interview talking about Savannah, right? Um, and then if you notice Donald Trump, it's almost like he knows something. And I think that's something would probably cause the United States people to go into an uproar. So that's why they're quiet because they don't want you to really know that this is about. Hmm. Anyway, let's leave it alone. All right, let's move on. Um, you think about it, guys. I'll say this, and I'm going to leave it alone. I promise it. I sat in court behind Nicolas Maduro. Maduro, who is from Venezuela, says, "Hey, they came and kidnapped me from my home." Um, yeah. So anyway, but to figure this case out, you're gonna have to do a deep dive into history and find out different things that was being covered on the news, and then you'll figure it out probably. All right, X Bill says no you Mel. Not sure what that means. No you Mel. Okay, you have to elaborate. My Melody says yes, I see him too. Okay, Deb says don't forget Annie and Tommaso were in the house to go check on her first. They saw whatever was there. Yeah, it's very complicated. We don't know what's going on here. It's very complicated. We won't. Maybe we will figure. We'll know from the authorities, or maybe we won't. You know. All right. Tammy says thanks for looking sharp and all you do. Thank you, Tammy. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Thanks for posting the email. Okay. Nina says Andy doesn't speak. Okay. See, the thing about this case, we don't have enough information to even come to a reasonable conclusion. So, you could spin your head on this case forever because you don't even know without a shadow of a doubt how entry was made into the house or and all these type of things. The key ingredients you don't know, so that's what makes it hard. Storeful says you are very well dressed. Thank you very much. My melody says only one out there suited up. Okay, thank you. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you. X Bella says, hope your YouTube will stick out a little bit longer. Yes, I will do that. We're going to be searching tomorrow. The deep fake report, he's going after everyone. Yeah, and I don't think, you know. Hmm. Man, there's so much, man, it's tough. Gotta be careful what I say. Pretty Team says, I don't think someone can live this long without having a decent meal or drink or even clean water. That's a good point. Tammy said, that's right. Trump is our president and proud of it. Okay. Green Nancy Holmes says, Lisa. Linda says, Trump needs to be locked up. Okay. Stella says, like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications to be notified for upcoming shows. Yeah. There's so much going on in the world. It's just so much going on. Something is bound to happen. And I'm not sure if people are ready. I'm not sure if people are ready. Something's bound to happen now. It's just we have Iran, we have so much happening. And you hear about it so much that people, their senses become dull. And they don't even give a lot of attention to it. And they don't prepare for what could happen because we've been pretty much at an easy point. Not enough for people to go too crazy. So when we hit that point, it's going to be chaos. It's just, you can just feel it in the air. Matt says the pool in her yard is a hazard since she's usually alone, 84, and has health and mobility issues. Seemed like a lot of house for her to navigate in her situation. Okay. Man, it's something because we've been taking such a hit here from the legacy media. I have to be careful more what I'm saying. So that's why I can't really say some of the things I want to say. So I try to tell you guys stories, and if you can profit from it, then so be it. Um, I'm almost tempted to tell another story because how can I tell it without getting myself in too much here? Um, I'll put it this way: take an evening and understand how the CIA work. Just do that. Understand that, and then you realize and research other countries that have their own form of the CIA, and then you'll start to look at everything different, even this case and so many more. So, and then you'll start to be more open minded about life. I'll leave it at that. Okay, Susie, New York is bracing for a blizzard. Yeah, and I don't know what to do about that. Okay. My buddy JLR is over there preaching from the church pews. He's over there. He's over there preaching and teaching. He's over there preaching and teaching. I like JLR. He's a good man. He's a cool guy. Nina says, why she into the house through the garage is that common? Yeah, that's very common, especially in New York. The deep fake melatonin. All right, I'm putting you to sleep. Stella says, for some, yes, it is common. Okay. Peace and serenity. Do you follow the Epstein files as well? Yeah, that's good. You got to check out the channel. We talk about Epstein probably more than anything else. Okay. Did you guys see this sighting of Ghislaine Maxwell that just came out today? I have to get back and I have to post it. But I have my whole breakdown on her. But it makes sense. She got a deal. But I want to research it before I put it out. So I'll look forward to that. Tina says forecasted tomorrow and Monday. Okay. Jack says, see you, Nancy's. Thank you. Okay, thank you. The deepfake says, I'll be there for the Clintons. Holy moly, that's going to be the one. Yeah, it will be, but the problem is it's so cold out there. You can't really stand out and take good footage. It's going to be a challenge. And then it's going to be so much traffic. And I've been to the house before. There's not a lot of place to park. So then if you're not parked close enough to see what's happening, you got to get out and stand in that snow. It's going to be tough. MG says, look at the New York weather before you leave so you can be safe traveling home. Thank you very much. Man, we have some solid people here now. This is amazing. X Bill says, I've been reading the Epstein files. I'll watch you then. It's sick. Yeah, but why isn't more people locked up? You know? There's a level, obviously, that people don't quite understand. Storyful says, liked and subscribe, found you through JLR. Thank you very much, Storyful. I actually think I saw you write something on a comment. I saw you, under my video that I did with driving, maybe. Thank you so much. Thank you, Susie. Keep it to yourself. Okay. All right. Eric says, okay. Okay. Yes, deep fake. I can understand that. 1W says, I love how professional you look. Thank you very much. Free speech. Yeah, free speech it is, but free speech can get you jammed up. So, you know. So, when you really think about this case, we really don't know any solid details. And even I can see the frustration in the reporters and the anchors because they want to be able to say something that's exciting, but they don't have a news story. And they have to do their blurb every day at the same time. And when you don't really have something breaking, I guess it gets a little bit, monotonous, especially when you travel here from afar. Okay, my melody says, or an analogy. Yes, yes, yes. I get it. Michelle says, I've been following this so many stories. I think it's cult. Okay. I would like to know more about that. Send me an email. MG says attention. Okay. Christina says I don't believe the case is about money either. Hmm. We could talk about it. Jackpot says political. Yeah. 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 I wish I could speak on it, but people would, you know, they wouldn't understand. They wouldn't. They just wouldn't get it. So I mean, listen. It's hard to the federal government, man. They are so good. You know, they at least get you a car. A light. We still don't know how the person arrived here. Not only arrived, but allegedly took someone away. So it's something to think about, folks. Bell Bottom says, me either. This is deeper than money. Okay, the deepfake says, hi, Stella. Remind me again. Susan understood. Nina K. My Melody. Shout out to you. X Bailey Facts. Okay. Let me say this, right? You know what's intriguing, and I don't want people to start getting upset with me and canceling me, so maybe I should just leave it alone. But they, with the DNA, when you give your DNA, people come back and they say, "Oh yeah, I sent my DNA out, saliva, whatever, blood, whatever," and they can tell me my whole heritage, and I have 10% this and da, 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 da. So you mean to tell me in all these DNA they can't give you a clear indication of whether this is give you a better description of the race of this man? Even if you have to divide it, say the DNA from the house is the person's going to be this, whatever. Maybe they were withholding that so people don't just, go into a frenzy, but we don't even have, we don't have a clue, you know? We do know that the guys that have been apprehended or detained have been some sort of Hispanic, but I mean, other than that, you still have to come to your own conclusion, right? Okay, Pig says could be a narcissist family member or friend that wants revenge. Yeah, but I get you, right? Pig, love and hugs, right? But sometimes they can go beyond your family. If you rub somebody the wrong way. Let me tell you a story, okay? I'm gonna tell this story. Oh my goodness. Now I have some good connections to Sean Diddy Combs. I still keep in contact with his family. We whatever, right? But some people really railroaded Diddy. You know, it's going to take every strength in the world for him not to come out and want to act on it. I'm not saying he will, but some people really railroaded him. Now you could say, "Oh, the guy did this and that." That's a separate matter than the people that he thought betrayed him. And depending on how much you betray a person, or maybe, I know for a fact some of the people that covered his case, and he felt like, let's take it out of Diddy. I don't want to talk about Diddy anymore. People be in a situation they're fighting for their life, and then you have somebody on television, YouTube, making your case worse by saying, yeah, he did this. And then they do these deep dives and they start talking about your dirt. And then you mess around and get 10, 20 years, you know? I think I got my point across. So, anyway, we'll leave that alone. Christina says, I think we have some same theory. We aren't saying it out loud. Okay, but I think you got what I said. Nina says, Silence of the Lambs. Oh my God. The deepfake says, if you study, okay, Sobs, you can tell what it is. Total distraction from meetings going on, the hush, the Epstein, hoopla. I get that. The only thing is, why would it be her for that? We just that's the big question, okay? And again, folks, we don't know what's going on here. We're just having these discussions. I'm responding to different things being said. Bell Bottom Blonde says if it was about money, they would have tried harder to collect. And guess what, guys? According to what we know, and every time I think I know something, I find out that it wasn't true. But allegedly, it took 72 hours for someone to reach out and ask for money from someone who started off the journey of this, whatever happened, with drops of blood. You know what I mean? So, not that it's impossible, but, Joe says Trump knows. Trump knows. I feel like, Joe, if I could give you a star, I would. And that's what tells me there's more than meets the eye here. But it's going to be hard to tell the story to the media. Let me give you guys an example. The minute, right? Look at the state of the country. The minute it's revealed that this guy, let's just hypothetically say if he was a illegal immigrant, can you imagine? Can you imagine what's going to happen in this country when that if that turned out to be the case? So when it when there's a political element, you know, um, it's something to think about. Or if they know that this is tied to something bigger, and you have to try to translate that to the American people. That's a hard journey. Uh, but great comment for you, Joe, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. X Bella says yes, the Silence of the Lambs quote and Savannah's message is creepy, almost like a movie, right? Okay, the deep fake says it puts the lotion in the basket for the American grandma. Wow. Utica says, due to your chat, listen to you the other day, totally agree. Well, we try to be logical and not add in the whistles and the bells. Okay, Denise is yeah, it's from Cali. Welcome in. Thank you. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. OTC, you're back. Nice to see you back. Says Mel, saw you on JLR stream. You dressed good, man. You seem cool. Thank you. Just everyday people. Thank you. The deep fake report. It's either a sign of IMO or strategic message. Just okay. There you go. I wish I could expound, but I try to because I do have a voice. I try to stay reasonable, so I won't get into that. Okay. Yeah, bring Nancy home. Shout out to you, Bell Bottom Blonde. Stella says you don't even know what she had on last. That's so true. Peace and Serenity says the sheriff is keeping so tight-lipped. He's not even making press releases. So you have to ask yourself why. So they might be in that building a case mode. So we just have to be patient and try to figure it out. When they reveal what's going on, Nina says we don't know if they know either. True. It's just when you look at the media right now, we're hearing all of these bizarre stories. It's almost like it's striving after the wind, right? So, one of the big elements is that public safety is a big concern. So, people are concerned about, am I safe? Could this happen to me? Is this going to be a new pattern? People want to know what's going on. And that's why people are so hooked on it. So why do you think they're so quiet at a time when people need reassurance? Does that mean they don't know? We're not even hearing from Savannah, and that's the part that's troubling to me. 1W says, I do think she was targeted for ransom, but they didn't realize how high maintenance or medically fragile she was with her medication, heart, and mobility issues. Hmm. Hmm. Great point. Um, but I just have to keep my thoughts tempered here. Okay, Christina says, but great comment though, you know, great comment. And I appreciate what you said about the ransom. Christina says, all we know is Nancy is gone and someone who's at the front step. We really could speculate all day. Anything is possible. That's true. Dave says, keep on keeping. God's grace is on thee. All right. Thank you, Utica. I'm sorry. I still go back to. Okay. All right. My melody says, exactly. Speculating is a waste of energy. What is done in the dark will come to the light, only a matter of time. Yes, indeed. That's true. Stella says, be careful with rattlesnakes, scorpions. Oh, wow. So much here to look out for. Utica says, certain family members. Mrs. Magoo says, Andrew Windsor needs locking up too. Yeah, they're going to really put the screws to him, but I think he might reveal some information that's going to be explosive. And I think that this is a part of the plan. Um, Dennis says, I wish you had a chair to sit on. Okay. Nina says, exactly. Stella says he has one. He wants to stand. Thank you. Kitchen says, how come nobody brings up the teens arrested in California that were hired online to rob a home in Scottsdale, Arizona? Same exact time, missing link. Wow. Hadn't heard about that one. I will have to look it up. Utica says you're correct. Christy says we have been lied to all over our lives. It's crazy. Well, man, it's tough for me to process these comments and not say what I want to say. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness, I try not to say too much here, but Christy, you really made my day. Thank you though, but I'm gonna have to leave it at that. I had to give that a moment of silence. My goodness. You know, in this life, I can't resist myself. In this life, right from a child, we're taught to believe in things that are invisible. We're taught to believe in these concepts that no one really knows if it's true or not. So that's just how this life goes, you know? That's just how it goes. So when you set yourself up like that and you can we just believe in things without asking for proof or understanding how it really came to be, we set up these patterns to where we're just, we're falling for any little thing. All right, here's the trade off today. But anyway, I'll leave that alone. Thank you very much again, Christy. You made my day. Pig says these are distractions from the real. A lot has been happening. It seems like, I will say, with the Epstein files, ever since the Epstein files came through, man, we've been having one crazy event after the other. So much so you can't even focus on the Epstein files. I know I haven't been able to get in as much as I wanted to because, I'm trying to cover this case, the court cases. it's just hysteria, so much going on. So I understand what you mean when you said distractions. Mick says Brian Enton said he was canvassing the area today. I didn't see them. Okay. Again, I haven't seen any signs of police since I've been here, and I've been driving all around. Brittany says we need as much attention for all other missing people in the world. Well, here's the concept, right? They're taking pictures of the police here, the exchange. Hold that thought. I'll get to it because that's a good thought. There are so many cases of missing people, unsolved this, and people don't want to, they have no interest in it. So that's why I'm so amazed that a big part of me coming out here to cover this case is to start covering. Sometimes I explain to my family members, sometimes you have to cover the big case so that you can bring the crowd to the little case. So I've met some amazing people that are following the channel. So when I pull up in Chicago or the Bronx or Brooklyn, like last year, we had a grandmother, her poor granddaughter did not come back home, has never come back home, and there's no light on it. Imagine, look at all the light that's here. If that grandmother had this kind of light and people pulling up, you can't even get down the street and everybody's looking for the granddaughter, man, that's powerful. So we're building great people so we can shed light on those tough cases where people just don't want to pay attention or they just don't know. And again, today I went out, I did my 10, every day I ask 10 people, do they know about Nancy Guthrie here? And today the number was 8. So 8 people had not heard about her. And even a hotel, you know, manager hadn't heard. And I was like, has the police been here? No. I'm like, what? I don't know. This is so confusing. Anyway, so thank you for that, Brittany. Great, great, great. So you see, the strategy is just trying to bring some light. And now that there's even a small case, I have a network. You see all those people sitting at the table last night? They all subscribe to Watching the World. So you have, what is his name? Exploring with Jim. He might pull up with his motorcycle and look for somebody in New York, or if we're in North Carolina, whatever it is. But it's not just being one person trying to shed light on something with no audience. So we're getting bigger every day. And hopefully someday we can have a real group of individuals that are working on cases together. Now we're not trying to get in the police way, but I mean, I think a lot of people like myself sit around at night or wake up thinking about a case, just trying to figure out every angle, like how could this have happened? There's so many people like that, and we're starting to bring these people together. And I'm so happy that JLR and I connected so well because he's a heavy hitter, and I see a lot of great things coming out of this. So it's a beautiful situation, but that's the game plan. We want to shed light on those who are less fortunate and the voices that no one is paying attention to. That's what we're after. We can make a difference, but we have to bring together. I'm putting in a lot of grub work. Those that follow the channel from day one, they see, man, I'm traveling. I go to court, sit in court every day. I still cover the news. I'm trying to get access to the White House. Take care, brother. Thank you, thank you. I'm working on the access to the White House, but the crowd, you have to have a big crowd. So yeah, this is not some some light work. All right, OTC says Mel, we need some night streams from you. Okay, all right, we can work that out. I did a night stream. Well, it wasn't. You mean a night stream here? I did a night stream the other night when I had Mama Flips on and she was on. Mama Flips is off the chart, so I'll let you guys know. She has a very famous son, very, very famous. In fact, he's on the top podcast probably in the world, other than Joe Rogan. Um, but she speaks her mind, and she on Thursday night, it's not for the faint of heart because she's gonna say some things that might ruffle your feathers, but we don't always agree on everything. Her style is much different than mine, but she likes to push back on the um, some of those guys that say things they shouldn't be saying. So I like that element. Okay, the deepfake says, "Yep, you got it. BlackRock, CIA, United Nations. It'll be mind blowing. People don't even have a clue." I would like for you guys to check out. Unfortunately, I'm so tired for being out here. My brain isn't on point as much as it is, but it's the hierarchy of needs. But what is the guy's name? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I'm gonna do, and see, I would do a presentation on it, but most people don't want to tune in. But with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Uh, your basic needs have to be met in order for you to excel, right? So I want you to keep in mind the last comment, though. Um, okay, let's see. Okay. Anyway, okay, let me get to this. So with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you let's say you want to be all you can be, whatever that is for you, then so be it. But if you're hungry, right? A kid in school that's hungry coming to school, and it happens in the ghetto, in the hood, in the country, everywhere, so much. But if you're so hungry, you can't focus on you need uh, whatever your test is, whatever the teacher is saying, you're hungry. If you're super cold, you're living in a house, you don't have um, heat, you know, or if you're too hot, if you're not getting the proper sleep, if you can't get your basic needs, then you cannot elevate. But once a person, you have to go and check out Maslow's hierarchy of needs. But once a person gets all those basic needs, now they can reset, and then financially they start to make sense. They're making a few bucks, starting to save. Now you can go out and get to a level where you can help other people. But the problem is everybody is just trying to survive, and we're feeling the heat, and people are trying to figure out what's going on. Donald Trump is upset because the tariffs were shut down. He has this plan of trying to help the country. He's trying to negotiate. People don't know what a tariff is. They don't get the bigger picture of it. But all they know is that the bills are high and you can't feed your kids. Life is tough. You can't even focus on that there's a CIA and what it means. You're just trying to feed yourself. You're just trying to live, you know? And therein lies the problem. So most people are just trying to survive. They don't get a chance to pick their heads up and say, you know, wow, oh, let me look into what this means. And then let alone figure out a way that they can excel to a level where they can turn around and make a difference for people who are less fortunate. Few of us can actually get to that point where we can go out and service other people because the system is often designed to keep you in the rat race. You can't pick your head up and see what's coming down the pipeline. You're just trying to figure out your next meal. See what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm not trying to preach, guys. I'm trying to stay away, but some of these comments is pushing me out there. Okay, but thank you very much for that. Deep fake, be putting Man, deepfake be having me going out there. All right, peace and surrender. But thank you though. My husband passed in October, but as a black man, he educated me on so much going on in the world. Guys, let's put a heart in the chat for her husband. We don't know his name, but we definitely, our heart goes out to you. Peace and serenity. We hope you have peace and serenity. I know it's tough to go through and have losses, especially a mate or you lose your mother. It could be devastating. Some people can lose themselves when they lose someone in their lives. So my heart goes out to you. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you decided to come over. I'm glad you subscribed. And I'd like to hear more about your story. The email has been provided if you ever want to reach out. Utica says CIA is the most corrupt and scary. Okay, now, see, Utica's trying to get me out there. Boy. But notice what I said too. You research that. There's a guy that claims to be a former member. And he tells some awesome stories, but I have to take it with a grain of salt because it is coming. He's just speaking freely. I don't know if they would allow you to speak that freely if you were really a member of the CIA. But when you start to look at that same element from other countries and how they often will manipulate other countries, and some of them even operate in the United States, you start to do the research on TikTok, and that's all I'm going to tell you. You would be floored. You know what I mean? We won't get into that though, but man, I wish I could talk about it. Storyful says, I hope you had a well deserved steak last night. Yes, it was so amazing. Stella says, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys so much. Robbie Wilson says, thank you, Mel. Ooh, okay. My wife and I will be watching the world with you. You're the sharpest dress in the desert. You're independent journalists of changing the game and bringing back investigative reporting. Yes, it's very important, but we're nothing without you. Everybody is a part of this. And if you could find somebody that's willing to put in the work, but they're not crazy, they're not doing things that you really can't stand behind, that's important too, So that's why uh, it's more important that we have a lot of people who are like minded and here for the right reason and have a righteous cause. Then, when there's someone who, again, has no money, no resources, and something like this befall them, when we pull up, we can probably make a big difference. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it's important that we start here. Okay, the defake says, no, I don't want to put you to sleep, silly. Said you were losing sleep. No, I got it. That was a joke for me. I know what you were saying. Brittany says, great coverage on this. As always, Mel, sir, much love, respect to you. All right. Thank you, Brittany, if you're still here. Thank you very much. Okay. Stella says, thank you all for the likes. Okay. We're pressing toward 200. I can't see it because I'm on StreamYard and I'm trying to broadcast out. Also, if you guys could go and follow my Substack, yeah, and I need to, it's on the community page, the Substack. Maybe if Stella, if you could be so gracious to repost my Substack, because I would like to stream there tomorrow. That's very important before I leave here. Tomorrow I'll be streaming during the search. So if you want to see what's happening, and a lot of people are coming together to try to look for Nancy. Okay, the deepfake report says, I love this chat. You are all awesome. Thank you. Pig Love says, so glad I found your channel. I'm so glad you came here. You're here. Thank you. Girly Stacy, JLR is great. Yes, indeed. Okay. Thank you, girly. Thanks for subscribing. Try not to burn. It says, I love how professional you are, Mel. Found you through JLR. Can't wait to see what's next in New York. Right now, we're in the middle of the Alexander Brothers And again, this channel started off primarily talking about abuse, especially children, elderly people, women. Obviously nobody should be abused, but so that's always going to be an element that's near and dear to this channel. And so we've expanded out into the news world and definitely true crime. We're out here, boots on the ground. Um, but there's many of us now. We're growing and we have sharp people. And I think we can make a big difference. How you doing? All right. I think we can make a big difference. It's okay if people don't get the mission. That means it's not for them. So there's going to be a lot of critics. That's nothing new. Okay, Galen says also, okay, Deepfake says, heard that, believe me, I'm aware who's in the power, who pulls the strings, who's gatekeep. Okay, thank you. But we need that deepfake. We need that type of intelligence in the mix to help us understand, and bring up these points so people can research it in the chat. We have AI star seeds that often post things like that just to get people going. Okay. My Melody says, same. I just found him while watching JLR. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in. Brittany says, God bless you all. Thank you, Mel, for your great coverage. Thank you. I do this all the time. I'm very committed to it. And the best is yet to come. Mrs. Magoo says, sorry, and thank you for coming back, Mrs. Magoo. Sorry to say, but not too keen on JLR. Seems he's here to make money and no, not so much of caring about Nancy. Okay. I get your expression. I'm not sure what that's about. Galen says, I also found you through JLR. Great coverage. Okay, thank you. Coyote says, you and JLR need to check out Annie Guthrie Designs in Tucson at 901 North 13th. What does that mean? What does that mean? Thank you. Now, I don't want to miss the super chat, but I'm not familiar enough to know how it works because typically I don't receive a lot of super chats, so I don't know. Am I supposed to click on it and then I lose my play? I'm just trying to figure this out. So bear with me. I'm going to click on this. Hopefully I don't lose my. Okay, here we go. Found you. Okay, this is Vix. Got an opinion. I want to hear what this opinion is. Found you through JLR and love your channel. Thank you for your time. Thank you. And thank you for your donation. Appreciate it. That's kind of you. I have coffee every morning, so I'll definitely have coffee. I enjoy coffee. I don't know why. All right. Tim says, so glad I found you through JLR. How was dinner? Last night, dinner was great. It was really, really good. We had some good conversations. I got a feeling from everybody what they felt as far as did the person come through the front door, the back door? Do you think she's alive or not? I was able to get a feel out of people, so that was pretty good. Also, the networking is amazing because now we all have each other's information. If something's happening, they can reach out to me and I'll come and show up and do what I do. And, if I have something going on, if there's a case that needs some light and we can't get the media to move on it, then I can lean on those guys to come in and make a difference. Jesus, love for life. Watching the world, if you would. Watch Mob Crew from 2 hours ago. Then look by the tree for tire tracks or debris. It's across the street from Nancy's house. Okay, could someone help me out with that? I'm not Stella, could you notate this and send it to me so I can follow through on this when I get off this live? Wait a minute, let's see. Watch Mob Crew. I can't watch it now to figure out what tree. Then look by the tree for the tire tracks or debris. It's across the street from Nancy's house. Okay. All right. So I'll watch that and then I'll have to check it out. CIA and FBI behavioral modification creating ways to survey how we will stand up against the lies. Okay, I understand that. Remy says, I'm so happy I found you through JLR. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you subscribed. Thank you very much. Tammy says, hey, I'm coming from JLR channel. I love your facts and stories. I subscribe. Okay, thank you so much. Inspect, and it's nice to have you here, Tammy. Um, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Inspect the deck says they have already determined DNA. Okay, so what is it? What is the DNA? What's the profile of the person based on the DNA? Or do they have a name? Is this some breaking news? I mean, obviously, I can't really look out there because I'm live streaming so much. Inspector Deck says they already said that. Okay, Enjoy 100. They conducted a family DNA analysis. I know they're working on that. Thank you. Robbie, I believe there is a motive. Who is benefiting the most right now? What if the ransom is just smoke? Who is benefiting as we speak? Again, like I was saying, sometimes the benefit is for someone to see you suffer, right? And remember that video, the last thing you saw was Savannah, and she looked like she had saw a ghost, you know? She looked like she saw death. I'm just telling you for what it is. And you haven't heard from her since. So sometimes that's what, I don't want to get too deep into that, but I'm just answering your question. Okay, Jensen's back. Sometimes they want to say so people don't run. Okay, that's true. Tammy says, my gut's still saying it's her son-in-law. Why he always covering his face and he disappeared. To me, it's like he's hiding something. A lot of people feel that way, especially from the local area. I get it. But again, we don't have enough. See, they haven't given us enough information. So that's why we have these discussions, but that's all it is. It's just words in the wind. We're not solving the problem. We can't do anything really, but we can document and tell you what's happening in real time as much as possible. But we don't know. We can't even, you know. See, here's the thing now. It's one thing to have these discussions and you say, well, what do you think? Oh, I think the guy came in through the ceiling, you know, like in the Bible when the guy was lowered through the ceiling, right? That's all you can come up with that thought. But see, when you start reporting, and if I tell you guys I'm standing here right now and the guy is coming out of the house and I just start making stuff up just to send you on a wild goose chase, and that's a different type of story. And that's my point. Um, there's nothing wrong with having a discussion. Okay, Inspect says that's not anything to brag about. Mel Diddy and his family ain't good peeps, bro. That's not bragging. I'm telling you the facts. That's the facts. I speak to his family. That's no big deal. When we're in court, in all of these cases, we mingle, we rub shoulders. Like even with the Alexander brothers, we talk to the family, we ask questions. That's not a flex. Don't get sidetracked. Stay focused. Okay, Jen says, Tammy, I agree with you. Madhouse says, from this case, we'll be told we need cameras everywhere and they will push for mandatory DNA database. So we must be really behind on the comments because this is stuff that I was talking about a while ago. Okay, the deepfake says the elites at YouTube are benefiting. Are you aware how much they're making on Nancy Guthrie? Yes, indeed. Even without that, they're making all the money. So, that's just a part of the process. I mean, if they're doing it for money, I don't think it's the way to go. If that's what you're solely doing it for. So that's just my opinion. Because it's no different than the music industry. They give you a few peanuts and tell you to go dance. That's what it is. Okay, they know true crime. All right, Tammy. Okay, Tammy says Spec says it was a mistake. Okay, possibly. Tammy says, I agree. Inspect says, Nancy, most likely she passed before they could get the money from proof of life. Okay. That's if money was the point. You know, if somebody hired a hitman, are you going to say it was for money? You know what I mean? So, like, anyway, not saying that that happened. I'm just using that as an example. The deepfake says most abduction cases are close to the family or friends or associates, and the church call the family. And I think they should release the 911 call. Great point. Shout out to you, Tammy, Lisa. Shout out to you. Thank you guys for subscribing. Inspector Deck says let's going to the case or at least Latino. Okay. Mrs. Magoo says, yeah, that would be a nightmare when having a problem in England. Okay. Thank you. New Jersey and says press the thumbs up at the top of the screen. Jen says something is way off here. We do not have the DOJ or feds we used to have. I do think he knows. Okay. Okay. All right. Hmm. Okay. Brian Enton is going in over there. They seem to be having a extended show. Okay. Okay, Nolan says, really like watching your coverage. Thank you. Ginger says they left the house by walking. They need to walk the tunnel that connects Nancy's house to the neighbor's house. The vacant house needs to be checked. The rental house needs door needs to be checked. That was my whole point, but you can't even get in contact with the feds like that. So there's no indication of a vehicle that has been given. So you really hit the nail on the head. Shout out to Ginger Johnson. You deserve an award. That's the thinking. When you don't know, you don't know. Like even a house, how thoroughly was it checked? Who checked it? Um, anyway, we could always go on and on about this stuff. Aaron says it's just hard to believe the neighbors know nothing. Okay, Honeybee, shout out to you. Nice to have you back. My Melody says, where's the sheriff? Good question. Peace and Serenity says, I haven't decided if I like JLR or this Chad. This is, in my opinion, the majority is so racist. Oh my God. Whew, wow. Man, oh man. Hmm. Okay. Thank you for your words. Peace and serenity. Sorry. Inspector Deck says logical is a guy who looks like the porch guy caught on camera 7 days ago in Tucson at the Mineral Gallery store on Leicester Street. Okay, I would have to look that up. I don't know if Stella is around, but if you could notate that comment. Oh, I could start. I forgot that. Shoot. This is not YouTube. Okay. All right. User says, I think vigilante justice will solve this before law enforcement ever does. Deliver justice, and we'll be luck if we ever hear about it. Okay. New here, JLR told us great things about you. Thank you for all you're doing. And then Nancy Guthrie case prayers. Okay. Thank you very much, Sharon. Okay. Miss Magoo. Let me try something. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay. So inspect the deck. So guys, I just figured something out. I'm so sorry. I should have been doing this all the time. I'm going to try to do this going forward. Inspect the deck. Show on stage. Boom. Okay. You won't speak a word of the real details. Tell us that something you on to is suspicious. Okay. All right. Something that seems to be suspicious. Hmm. Um, the thing to me that's suspicious is they don't have a vehicle or they haven't shared that they saw lights driving away. They can't even tell you which direction the vehicle went. Um, Within a good 2 mile radius, you have stoplights in every direction pretty much. And at 2:30 to 3 o'clock in the morning, how many cars do you think are really going to be rolling through here? So the fact that we don't have anything of that sort, that would be suspicious to me. So I hope that answered your question. Okay. All right. Deborah, shout out to you, New Jersey, and shout out to you. She says like, share, and subscribe and turn your notifications. And again, thank you guys for subscribing to the channel. Inspector Deck says they're trying or try to recover Nancy without people or media getting in the way. Okay, that makes sense. I get that. It's part of the business of the sub. If you don't have answers, you still got to keep guessing, right? That's a good point. There's so much money in this lingering, right? Things in general are lingering. Nina says no more TMZ letters. I could really get into that. That's crazy. The deep fake. And people really started giving them the business, and that's why they came back and said, "Oh, you know what? We're not gonna release anymore. You don't want to believe us, whatever." Okay, couple of Columbus says if the jewelry thief was the same guy on the porch, then the streamers are going to have to miss an opportunity to fully discuss this. Looks like the wrong house. So you think it was the wrong house? Okay. Marilyn says, hi, everyone. Shout out to you. All right. Deborah says, temper your thoughts. Okay. Deborah says, like faith. Hmm. Cup of Columbus says, Virgo Gym Company went Insta live telling everyone that they were at a luxury Airbnb. Hmm. Virgo Gym Company went Instagram live telling everyone they were at a. Okay. Hurley says, why don't they have the search party and the military to help in this? Good question. Lisa, okay, shout out to you, Lisa. Couple Columbus says on January 31st, the Virgo Gym Company had a meet the dealer meetup on Oracle. Thank you for that. Hurley, shout out to you. Nice to have you here. Jen says, I also asked what animals are in the area. I think Stella was touching on that in the chat a bit, some of the dangers. Chris says, have you seen this with slow motion, second individual at the front door? Chris, I saw that. I don't believe that that's a cell phone. I looked at it this morning 1,000 times, and I think you're seeing the reflection from the strap over the left shoulder. And because if you look at the frame, the person's head is at the top left. If you're looking at it at the top left, and then you see that on the right hand side coming down in unison with the person as they kind of bend their knees down. So I believe you're seeing that reflection on the strap. It's not a cell phone. That's just my observation. My Melody says, wasn't Nancy's daughter was the first to report on the files with the witness on her show? That's a part of the conversation that everybody's talking about. City of Angels says, hello, just subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. Cup of Columbus says, can't wait to meet you. Lots to discuss. All right. I'm here for it. The deep fake report says they had a search for dogs and more. However, dogs didn't pick up anything, so she left in a car for sure, and not sure what a search is going to do aside from build community to keep finding answers. Okay. Okay. Kelsey says, Mel, did you see the thing about the gym show that I sent you on Twitter. No, but I will go on Twitter and check it out the minute I come off of here. So let me start that. Okay, thank you. Okay, Jeannie, thank you for subscribing. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Lav says, have you ever sat down today? I surely haven't. Bad, bad, bad. I know. Gent says, I think Savannah was open about the files. He didn't like that. CB was also big on the files. Okay, so there you got have it, guys. Gents is talking about this at a higher level. Says I think Savannah was open about the files. He didn't like that. CK was also big on the files. Okay. All right. So thank you for your comment. Madhouse says academic, religious, corporate, medical, politically, we have been bamboozled forever on every front. Trust no one. Madhouse, you deserve an award. Um, okay, let's see here, guys. Give me 1 second. Thank you. Best Girl 777 says, hello, everyone. I'm so glad Mel is live. The pic from last night's dinner with other YouTubers was very touching. Y'all will always have a special bond. Thank you very much. And thank you for guys for making that possible and thinking about our ability to eat. That's awfully kind of you. That's amazing, you know. Jitty says hi. Jeannie says seeing you on JLR. Thanks for subscribing. Okay, my Melody, thank you for the contribution. Thank you very much. I'll get a coffee with that. Brittany says we're almost to 50K subscribers. Let's go, everyone. Keep hitting the like and subscribe button, everyone. God bless Mel. Great coverage again and great discussion. Brittany is really at it today. That's amazing. Rican says, what's up, Chad? Okay. Thank you for subscribing. Also, Wendy, great job, Mel. Appreciate all the coverage from you and JLR. Thank you, Wendy, for subscribing. I appreciate it. Wake up 777. That's right. Okay. Jizzy says, wow. Okay. Eric says, yes, Mel. Changes come in numbers. Yes, indeed. We need the numbers. And we need people committed to helping those who are less fortunate. Okay, Renee says I subscribe came from JLR and also subscribe to Dad's Gone Live. Thank you. Two amazing channels they are. Yes, indeed. Jitty. Hurley says, why isn't her family looking for her? Is what I don't understand that. Great point, Hurley. Great point. Young Gremlin says, dig in the ground. Wow. Jitty says, do you make money? All right. Um, yes, I do. I make money. Um, from YouTube, not so much. I will tell you that. Very little from YouTube. But money is not my mission because I'm pretty well off in my personal life. So, Bass Girl says, uh, so let me quantify that because I have good people in my life. Let's put it that way. Okay, Bass Girl says, I feel like we get to the truth from you, Mel. Thank you very much. Um, hold on, let me listen in and see what's happening. Oh man, they have an actual panel going out here. So let's just take a break from this, guys. I want you guys to see what's happening. They actually have a panel going out here. I've never seen this before. Not on the ground. Let me try to be more cool about it though. Let me just get closer. Wow, they have a panel going out here. News Nation. Wow. Imagine having that type of support team. And they have a full team and cameras and lights, camera action, teleprompter. Man, I haven't even seen this in New York. This is something. Wow, guys. Man, oh man. I don't want to impose too much on them, but yeah. I'll try to take a few more comments. Um, okay, let's see here. Susan says you are dedicated to keeping an eye on the world. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. Thanks for subscribing. Um, Jen, love, mama. You know, it's amazing. You guys really inspire me, certain people. Um, Periodically, people will say, and I, not typically with me, but I see it, people bring up the money issue. Um, Typically, people that are probably not doing a whole lot as far as, um, whatever, okay? Um, and I don't want to get too deep into it, but they try to discredit people in a way like, oh, you do it for the money, or are you making money, or whatever. Like they just say, well, you should just go do this for free, and you travel, and you notice I don't ask for anything. So, but it just amazed me that periodically you get these people, and you hear the comment or you hear them. And it's not just me, but I observe it. It's like they're just so disgruntled with their lives that they come into a room and they just want to say something to crash the party. It's just so amazing. Whenever I see that, I'm like, wow, that's like sour grapes, right? Okay, Deborah says she's fun. Okay, all right, so here you go. Yep. So we get some sour grapes in here. All right. Kelsey says, Mel, did you see? And we're here for a great cause. We have somebody in here. Just we had a good flow though, but I knew it would happen. But we're just gonna keep moving around it. Kelsey says, Mel, and these people would never be. Anyway, I'll just stop. Kelsey says, Mel, did you see the thing about the gym show? Okay, I'm gonna look that up. All right. Deborah says, when is food and water scheduled, Mel? Very soon. L6 says, okay. Title throws you off. Okay. All right. I'm not sure what you mean by that. You could let me know. All right, New Jersey, no sweat. I got it. Susan says, I shared you on Facebook. Hope that's okay. Of course, that's okay. Very much so. Travel Toter says JLR focuses on high profile cases. We all wish that he would focus on finding local missing children. Okay, I really can't speak on that, but I will tell you that that's really really bothering me. So I'm looking forward to. But you have to have the numbers. And you have to have people that are willing to really dig in on these cases and act quickly. And I think we were there. We found people. We'll keep growing. But what really inspired me is this case in Brooklyn. And there's another case in Brooklyn that when I get back I have to cover. But a certain religious group is taking the homes of little old ladies. So I'm going to be going head strong right into that to cover it. People are losing their homes every day. It's a nightmare, but I'm going to cover it. That's out of Brooklyn. But we need more numbers, and it'll eventually happen. Okay. Okay, Deborah, good story. Mel, okay. All right. My Melody says physiological needs. Okay. Survival. Thank you. All right, you're a very sensible man. I'm glad I found your channel. Thank you, Susan. Okay, okay, safety needs. That's right. Okay, all right. Okay, okay, okay. Eric, Nina, thank you for all the hearts that went out for our dear lady that lost her husband. Okay, Storfa says the cost of living is so high. Housing, food, fuel. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. A lot of hearts went out for her. That's awesome. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Thank you. Bogus says one thing I do like about your channel is that you don't preach about basic spiritual nonsense. All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sada Saudade says, will this case be another one used to change IGG laws? I feel like it might play a role in this, okay? Very good. Sharice, okay. Thank you. So many people. I've so much enjoyed watching you, Mel. Thank you, Susan. Nice to have you. Captain Midnight says, Mel, is that you in front of JLR? We is creeping on you. Yep, that's me. Thank you. I don't know where, or maybe that was in the past, but if it was, then yes. Jennifer, oh boy. Jennifer says, would love to see you in the new media seat at the White House briefing. Yeah, I'm working on it, but you have to meet the parameters. So we're pushing to get the numbers because numbers is everything. Okay, City of Angels, I shared your channel. Thank you very much. Thank you. Storyful says, I hope this doesn't turn into a cold case. I'll tell you, the sentiments on the ground is people already feeling that way. So it's sad, but again, you don't know what's happening with the feds. Gina says, thank you for all you do. Thank you. Brian is here. Hello, Mel and Chad. Brian, you missed, we had an in depth discussion about the Gospels earlier today. I know you would appreciate it. That Rodriguez says community makes a difference. Brian is one of those, I don't want to call him, I'll call him a lover of the word. That's what I'll call him. He loves the word. Okay. Sharice, good topic. Okay. Nina, the cowboy. Logic says, Mel, you are a class act. Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. City of Angels says, hello. Jeannie Scott. Okay. Susan, God bless and stay well, my friend. Susan, don't go away for too long. Nice to have you around. Judy Wood. California. Okay, $2. Thank you very much. I really respect that you came in a suit every day. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Glad to do it. I think it's very important to represent yourself well in life. Okay. Okay, Rodriguez. Amen. Stella, Lisa Page. Okay. Then it says, I don't understand this format. Okay. All right. Jill Smith, hi Mel. I just subscribed to your channel. Thank you very much. Thank you. Captain Midnight says, Mel, go check out the sunset. Oh, we missed the sunset. Oh my goodness. It was right over there. Oh man. I wanted to we covered the sunset last night. I wanted to do that again. I wasn't thinking. Okay, 198 City of Angels. Thank you very much. Diverse says, wonder if the doorbell bracket was tested for transfer DNA. Great question. Sharice Facts, Lisa Page 199. Gigi says, what do you do then when somebody stalks you? Oh man. Yeah, that's a good question. Miss Magoo. Deny me neither. City of Angels, Susan Conley. Hi Mel. I just subscribed to your channel. Thank you, Susan. That was at 6 o'clock. Ooh, we're way behind on the comments. Oh my goodness. Okay. Jeannie, love you too. Thank you for the support. City of Angels. I subscribed today. Thank you very much. Best girl, you are a breath of fresh air. Thank you. This is not what my shows are typically very concise and news and straight to the point, but streaming all day long. I'm here for it. All right. Deborah says go chat for supporting. Okay, City of Angels 204. All right, Lisa Page, subscribe today. Thank you. Oh, there was a Kara that sent a super chat. No, she sent the Cash App. I thought that was far too kind. I've never had an exchange with Kara, and she just sent that. And I couldn't even say thank you or anything back. So if you're listening, or hopefully I'll be able to have an interaction to show my appreciation to you. That's awfully kind of you. Okay, Jitty says, I love your channel. You always help us stuff that we don't know. Thank you, Jitty. City of Angels 205. Brian, chat. Thank you. 200 likes. Brian always makes sure we get the likes. He's like I'm going to call him the likes whisperer. I don't know how he does it. I've never seen anything quite like him, you know. Zan says, hey, for the Central Florida, how y'all doing? It's getting a little bit too dark for my comfort here now. Thanks for being a voice for those who can't speak. Okay. All right. Stella says, please follow Mel on Substack. Okay. JLR put his lights on. That's cool. All right. Judy says, I love your channel. Once you do cool stuff and you double or the stories, what can you do when you have to pass YouTubers? Okay, channel. Once you do cool stuff and you double for the stories, what you will have to pass YouTubers. Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Okay, Sid Perfecto. Hey Mel, I'm standing right behind you. Okay. Thank you. Shout out to you. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Brittany says, keep liking and subscribing. Everyone, keep double tapping. Thank you. All right, Jitty, I love you. Okay, back at you, Jitty. Vix got his opinion, says, found you through JLR. I love your channel. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Vix. Thanks for the donation. That's kind. City of Angels says exactly who said that. Not sure. It's been some time. I don't know exactly what phrase. Okay, Lex says just found you through JLR. Diverse says thank you, Lexon, for subscribing to the channel. Okay. All right. Brian says, Rick, thank you. Have a blessed day. Sid Perfecto says, got you. Okay. Jill Smith says, love the channel. Thank you. Lex says, actually, LR, he can help you. All right. Thank you. Susan Conley says, JLR is all about the bag. Okay. All right. Judy. Gene Shannon says, nice guy. Okay. Thank you, Judy. All right. Joe says, Mel, I think you and I are like minded in thought. I'm curious if you have any opinion on comments about the 17th letter in the alphabet. Um, no comments. No comment. I'll have to think about that one. Okay. Thank you, Vix. Stella. All right, Jitty. Not sure what happened there. Brian. Jill Smith. Great chat. Okay, Brittany, you're welcome. Lisa. Okay. Okay, Deepfake says the psychological operation in media is the strategic use of messaging, imagery, or selective information to influence how an audience thinks, feels or reacts to an event or narrative. Okay. Thank you. Shopper Girl says, thank you for being a voice for those who can't speak. Okay. Yeah, but we want to do so on a grand scale because that's how you can solve problems. Marie says, JLR never asked for money. Okay. Thank you for that. Rodriguez says, we all need to help each other in the world. Kindness. That's more kindness. Yellow Hearts, Lisa Page, shout out to you. M. Joy says, hi, Mel. Saw you on JLR. Just a thought, I believe Miss Nancy was set up possibly by family, and the dinner and game on January the 31st was to get her out of the house to start the break in. Okay. Thank you for that breakdown. Rodriguez says, love from Canada. It's been a long time since I've been to Canada. I'm due for a trip. Brian says Rodriguez giving the others makes you blessed. Okay. Texas says prayers for Nancy and family, also for those searching for her and reports. Okay. Thank you. Tim Lawson says hi, Mel, watching from Nancy, Kentucky. Okay. Cripple says too many people. The car has been all over by the tree. Okay. Yep. 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 All right. This lady today, who I guess was upset. She nearly hit myself. She ran over JLR's tripod a bit, and she gave us the evil look. So I don't want to be too close to the road this dark out here at night. Susan says, it's so nice to have found you, Mel. Thank you. Rodriguez says, Brian Cantrell, amen. Storyful. Okay, I agree. Steve says, hey, Mel, has anyone walked past the empty house you talked about earlier today at night to see if there's any sort of light or even a torch being. That's a good idea. We will check it out tonight. Let me see here. Hold on. Steve, I want to make sure I get back to you. Steve asked me that via email so I can follow up with you. It's very hard to do all this and then remember because I'm going to be super tired. But if you email me, I'll answer. But I won't forget when I drive past. Tim Lawson says, glad you and JLR are friends. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. We had a good connection from the beginning. That's a rare moment, but I'm happy about it. Um, yeah, it's rare for I don't really connect with people so easily, Not everyone. Not that I'm difficult, but that was a great connection. So I'm happy. The deepfake says they feed on your emotion and go straight for the heart. Who are they? Some other time. If you know, you know. All right. Jill Smith says, I found you on GLR's channel. I like your chats. Thank you very much, Jill Smith. I really appreciate you subscribing. Mrs. Magoo says, how's the sunset looking, Mel? It's amazing what actually happened. The moon looks great too out here. Stella says, yes, you're really behind on the comments. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, I'm way behind the comments. Uncommon says, blessing Mel in the chat. Teresa, thank you. Susan Conley. But Luke looks just like the guy in the mask, eyes identical, lips identical, nose impression. It's a huge gut feeling. I've heard that. I've seen those on TikTok. Okay. Captain JLR, thank you. Thanks for subscribing. User says Joe Apasio would have solved this by now. Okay. Thank you, user, for subscribing. Okay. Okay. You need a chair. Thank you, Gene. You're right. I should use a chair. User says no answers, no justice, no answers, no justice. Okay. The deep fake says have a good night, chat. Okay, be blessed. Okay. Susan says go by Brian's. Let's hear what he's saying. Mm, yeah. Okay. Deep fake have a blessed night. User says no answers, no justice, no answers, no justice. Okay. Yeah, that's a big house. Okay. Stella, good night. Miss Magoo, Susan, chat slow for him. Hell. get your comment in about 20 minutes. I know I'm going through every comment. It's super, super slow. User, that's directed toward Nanos. Captain says, good night, Mel. Going to JLR. Okay, nice to have you here. Captain Midnight. Okay. Brian says, Honey, you asked for prayers. I did that for you. Okay. All right. Sanders says, Mel, you are so calm, gentlemanly, and informative. I love that you wear a suit when working. Started following you from JLR. Glad you're there. See you tomorrow. Definitely, I'll be around. Susan Conley, thank you. Lisa, found you through JLR. Would start following you. I have much respect for him. Thank you very much. Going Hard is back. Says, I think Nancy and Annie are playing their kidnapping game with the whole Arizona. Too much not happening that needs to happen. Wow, that's an interesting take on it. Okay, user muffins and steak power mill. Great. Susan says they don't even say if there was even a vehicle. Exactly. Brian says 21 days, nothing, right? M Joy 100. Bass Girl Bingo. I agree, Mel. All right. The man who went missing in Tampa found deceased should be checked for a DNA match. Michael Bain. Hmm. The man who went missing in Tampa. Yeah, that should be an email so I can follow up on it. Going Hard said facts that the part I don't get either. No description of vehicle, direction, just a backpack on the glove on the ridiculous. Okay. All right, let's see what time it is. It's 7 o'clock. It's so dark. I got to get out of here. Susan says, like, share, and subscribe, and God bless you all. Pretty teens in the building. Shout out to you. Stella, trying to get 300 likes. Not sure how many we have. Susan Conley, that neighbor did not have a lot of money in all those gyms. Okay. All right. Gene says, yeah, 300 likes from Mel, please. Generation X says, what are you even talking about? Okay. He's a name caller. Okay. Boppy Travel says, are you living live streaming next week? Yes, but next week I have to cover the Clintons. I'll be at their house too. So that's later in the week. Fast Girl says, I think this is directed towards Savannah. I believe it's very personal, and Savannah is the target. They wanted to call Savannah Payne. Hit the nail on the head. Great job. Shout out to you, Bass Girl. You have those 7 sevens working tonight. Cookie Crunch is back, says, watching the world. You may want to see a YouTuber named MOB Boss. He really good and recently put up a short video on this case. Okay, I'll try to remember to check that out. MOB Mob Boss, okay. Have they found her, or do you know if Nancy is alive? So far, we don't know anything as of the last time I checked. Boppy, okay. Brittany says, make sure you rest tonight, Mel, and drink plenty of water in this heat, okay? Brian says, Bass Girl, I see you as well. Jeannie says, God bless you, Mel. Susan, thank Mel for being our boots on the ground. Thank you, Susan, for your kindness. Laura says, Mr. Mel, all right. Bobby says, Sheriff's office not taking tips anymore. Does that mean FBI is in charge? Wow. I did not hear that one. Thank you. Stella says, thank you all for coming from JLR channel and supporting the channel. Yes, indeed. Gina says, watching you after seeing you on JLR, I really appreciate your talent. You are so professional. Thank you very much. Thanks for subscribing, Gina. User says, I like that you dress for the job. Shows a professional attitude. Okay. Mr. or Mrs. says, love your coverage and calmness. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for subscribing. Travel says, people were calling the sheriff's office with their commentary. No tips. Okay. Makes sense. Thank you for that. Thank you, Travel, for subscribing. Tracy says, YouTube takes a big chunk. Absolutely. Lori says, saw you when you first talked to Dolly Vision. Your calm presence is appreciated compared to some of the chaos. All right. Thank you for subscribing. Erin says she had to tell someone was making her uncomfortable. Okay. Travel says, I believe that Erin. Okay. Jen says it's News Nation and Brian. They're having a special. Okay. Brian says, good point. Okay, Aaron, or someone was threatening a family member. Going Hard says, you'll have the same setup as News Nation one day. We believe in you, bro. All right, thank you. Cindy says, Brian Ensign live on News Nation right now. Okay, Boppy, you're absolutely amazing in your content and thinking about every aspect of the situation. Thank you, Boppy. I really appreciate that. Poppy, I gotta put that on a star. That's a good one there. Cookie says nothing is free, everything costs. Yeah, Brian says money isn't everything. You won't see a hearse pulling a U-Haul. That's so true. Gina says, love your content. Keep on doing what you do. All right. Sharon says, you are appreciated, Mel. You are too, Sharon. Okay, Pamela says, I watch from the sides, don't comment very often, but I love watching you and your honesty. I get you. Thanks for all you're doing. Great, appreciate you, brother. All right. Thank you, Pamela, for subscribing. I look forward to interacting with you. Maureen says you didn't. Law enforcement take the black mat in front of the door. Why didn't law enforcement take the black mat in front of the door? Great question. Man, that is a hard hitting question, right? It had blood on it. Why didn't they take it? Wow. Brian says, hello, Sharon. Hope you're doing well. Susan Conley says, never thought about all these expenses it takes to go out, boots on the ground. Yeah, it costs a lot. It's very, very expensive. But I do this, and I don't complain. Aaron says, it seems like people not talking because they're going up against a giant. All of the family has security they trust. Great, great job, Aaron. Stella says getting close to 300 likes. Okay, Bobby. Oh my goodness. Okay, thank you, thank you. Okay, Susan Conley. When you are there days on end, can be expensive, and I appreciate you for having a passion. Okay, thank you, Mrs. Magoo says, thank you, Mel. You're a true gentleman. Thank you, Sharon. She's with the second seeker's husband. Oh, wow. Gina says, oh, wow. Okay. Jody says, okay. Marie says, I love the word also. Okay. Storeful says, unfortunately, I missed your gospel chat. Okay. All right. Well, you have to bring up a subject and I'll talk about it. Okay. Amanda says, hi, chat. Hey, what's up? The old lady is dead. Time to go home. All media platforms. All right. Lori says, dress for success. Okay, Brian says, thank you, Mel. Lord bless you with the word. Turn to ministry, never looking back. All right. Travel. We have hope. Well, Brian, you make it easy, so thank you, brother. You're a good man. Honeybee says, metal, yellow, first, red, Mel, the best. All right. Thank you. Sharon says, I love your channel, Mel. Thank you. Sharice, beautiful. Going hard says, you're welcome. Brian. Brittany says, have a good night, Mel. Sir, God bless you. Be safe. Make sure you bring water with you. Tomorrow may be hot again. Stay hydrated out. In the heat, sir, must love and respect to everyone. All right. Thank you, Amanda. Too, too bad. Leave this case alone already. Okay. All right. Rob says, watching you on JLR, on my TV, and your stream on my phone. All right, that's beautiful support. Okay, Honey Bee's talking to Brian. Okay, okay. All right, all right. Amanda says, your media platforms and all the news stations are sick making money. Okay. All right, Susan says Mel is 8:30 here in Ohio, my bedtime. Hope you get some much needed rest. Okay. All right, all right, all right. All right, let's see here. Travel says Mel Reed Thomas is very professional. Okay, M. Catching says Amanda. Wow, now welcome. Okay, Brittany, 49,200 subscribers. Great job, Mel, sir. Also, 50,000. How are you? Good to see you. I'm all right. Okay, great coverage. Keep up the good work. Honeybee says Susan is too early for bedtime. All right. So I was back from yesterday. That was my cash app yesterday. Okay, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Um, I appreciate the cash app. Um, if you could also, I'm not trying to burden you, but send me an email along with it so I can chat with you and respond, give my appreciation. Okay. Amanda says, go home, pack your suitcases. All right. We're going to leave right now. Amanda, I'm out of here. Okay, guys. That's it. Amanda says, I have to go. Got to go now. Brian Cantrell says, Honeybee, you asked for the prayers and I prayed last night and this morning. The Lord knows your needs. Okay. All right. All right. Hello from New York. All right. Just you could park there, right? Do what you got to do. Go up there, turn around, and go on out. You don't have to do all of it. Just park right there. You're okay. Just to the right. Do your business, and then go. All right. You don't have to do all that. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Robo says hello from Buffalo, New York. All right. So, guys, we're gonna have to wrap it up, unfortunately. Well, we do have a sheriff over here, so that's cool. All right. We're gonna go over here in front of the sheriff. Okay. Okay, guys, let's go. Yeah. All right. And Vino says, just found you on JLR and sub. Okay. Susan says, I did see you at the Diddy trial and forgot to tell you that. Okay, thank you. So you've been with me quite some time. Okay. Retired says, seeing you on JLR stream. Okay. Thank you very much for subscribing. Steve Hell says, close says, good night. Thank you. Thanks for subscribing. Okay. Cup of Columbus says, nice work, man. Just wish we could discuss more. All right. When I get back to New York, I'm going to set up one night a week to take calls. So that'll be great. You'll be able to call in. Oh, we have a new member. Look at there. Sue's 1978, new member. Shout out to you, Sue. That made my day. I'm glad you became a member. Um, I have a member video, coming up. I put together this presentation that I want to talk about. So I think you're gonna appreciate that. Okay, Rob says, by the way, that watching the world sign is what caught my eye. It worked. All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's awesome. Thank you, Rob. Those are the type of things we need to know sometimes. Kayla says it's sad the longer this goes on, the longer I don't think she's coming home alive. Okay. All right. Song Bit says hello. Okay. Honeybee says gratitude is like armor. Okay, Cups of Columbus says stay blessed. Leslie says saw you on Jay's stream. Brian, Melanie, welcome to the chat. Okay, Songbit says saw you on Jay's too. Came over. Thank you for subscribing. Thank all you guys for subscribing. Okay. All right. Hopefully tomorrow is a better day to find information on Nancy. All right, we'll be searching. Susan says YouTubers are the best media. All right, the way of the world is changing. The scene of the world is changing. Honeybee says look like the scene straight out of the Flintstones. Right on. All right, good deal, good deal. Leslie's watching from Texas. Okay, Snapback Judge says love from New Jersey, brother. All right, well, I flew into New Jersey, out of New Jersey, so that's close to me, you know. A lot of relatives there. Okay, Stella had said it's 6:43. Sheesh, I'm still like behind on the comments. Whew. Bomb says hi, watching from Ohio. Jay, why are you always in front of JLR? Okay. All right. Snap says just subscribe to you, seeing you on JLR. Okay, thank you very much. Rich says, hey, saw you on Jay's watching from California. Okay. Watching from Massachusetts, a lot of red flags. I'm just saying. Okay, Granny says, I finally found you. Okay, Brian Cantrell. Okay, Shasta says, aren't you tired of standing? Okay, Honeybee. Well, you know what? Typically, I don't stand this much. So, you know, it is what it is. This is a brief moment in time, folks. Bridget says, what time will you be there tomorrow, Nelson? Early for the search. Stella, thank you all for coming over from JLR. Rich says, what? Watch those devils, right? Sassy says, just follow you from Jay. And Spag, great work. Wish you can discuss more. Stay blessed and safe. Okay, Shaba back. Watching from Ohio. Raymar says, saw your sign on JLR. Hello. Okay, Stella, thank you all for watching the world. Okay. All right, we're about to wrap it up, guys. We need 5 more likes for 300. Okay, Steve, what's your email? I think the mods had posted the email. Perhaps Stella, if you don't mind it. Barbara says, what if they use a truck labeled and was familiar business name that might be expected to be on the road at that hour? Okay, good point. Deep thinker. Tammy says, like I said, a lot of red flags. Ms. Magoo says, hoping you get 300 before I sign off. Nearly 2 a.m. in the UK, and Miss Magoo is still rocking with me. Man, oh man. Gotta love it. D Hunter says, hello, Mel. Brendan says, keep subscribing and double liking the stream. Okay. Why can't you say what you want to say? Yeah, it's very complicated. But, you know, the mainstream media has been using our comments and our blurbs, so I just want to keep it cool for now. All right. All right. Molly says, Simba J, been watching you as well. Great job by both of you. Thank you. Okay. Side Perfecto says, are you participating in the search tomorrow or just reporting on it? No, I'm participating. Rich says JLR is cool. Okay. We hit 300, guys. We hit 300. Okay. All right. So we're going to take a few more comments, and unfortunately, we'll have to go. I might be able to, I don't know if I'll stream later just to get through. I wish I could continue the comments, but unfortunately, I don't think I could do that. But we could see if anybody is on tonight. Perhaps we'll see. All right. And Vino, JLR is a kind soul. Troy says just found you on J. Okay. Cookie Crunch says, yeah, same here. I connected with him and that channel really good initially. What does that mean? I'm seeing more there, but thank you, Cookie Crunch. Okay. Michael says this whole kidnapping is just weird. Nothing making sense. Okay. Mammoth Brick says, hey, brother, I seen you on JLR feed. Keep up the good work, brother. Thank you. Thanks for subscribing, AJ. Brian says, wow, thank you, chat. Over 307 likes. Okay. You guys have a good night. I hope that worked out for you. Yeah. Yeah. It's always the guy that's been here that could tell you how to navigate. Yeah. Hey, I'm glad to do it. Glad to do it. Online, I'm watching the world. That's right. Okay. That's the name of my YouTube channel. Watching the world. Yeah. I'm out of New York, so I cover all the major court cases: Diddy, Trump, Maduro. I go to court and I report on it. Just got a new podcast client. All right, thank you. Watching the world. Thank you, guys. Mel, what's your name? Ron. I'll look out. I'm gonna look out for a comment from you. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Mel. Good night. Okay, you have a good night too. Barbara says living at the New Jersey. Share and look forward to your reports. New York City. Okay, Frosty says hello from JLR. Thank you for subscribing, Frosty. Bob says you deserve a comfy chair. I haven't seen you sit all day. Okay, I understand. Sinaloo says watching you from JLR. Okay, Granny says, are you going to the search tomorrow? Yes. Okay, Renee says hello. I just subscribed to when I saw you on JLR. Okay. All right. Honeybee says the people appreciate Melvin's work. Okay. Thank you, Brian. Shout out to you. Respect the deck. Great work. Why can't you say what you want to say here? I explained that. Okay, Mel, turn the camera. All right, Lori says somebody called Columbo. That's right. Columbo would solve it right away. Andy, what's up? Okay. Mammoth Brick says same from JLR. Okay, Rudy Ortez. Okay, if there was kidnappers, they had a 10-hour head start before anyone noticed Nancy being gone. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to wrap up here. It's so dark out here. Yeah, I don't want to. I have to use wisdom. Yep, I do sound tired. I know. But this is not typical. I'm here for a cause. Mammoth says, keep up the great work, brother. Okay, Travel says, some streamers don't read them at all. Woe for them. Stella says, no, he's been reading since he got on. Okay, Mimi says, just found your page. I'm going to follow you. Thank you so much. Thanks for subscribing. Okay. Thank you, Honeybee. Okay. Ever says, love the suit and tie. Beautiful. Thank you. Ever. Okay. Honeybee says, sharp. Andy Gray, shout out to you. Cotton Candy. This sheriff is awful. Oh my. Thank you for subscribing. Wendy also found you on JLR. All right, guys. We're going to have to say goodnight for now. If I get a breath of wind, I might try to come back on tonight when I'm settled. But if not, don't hold it against me. But thank you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all you do. We're growing. And I hope with the growth, we can turn that into a positive mission for the people who are less fortunate. But good night to everybody. I'll be back on soon and definitely tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Different voices, but the same song. Living a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the thing remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days in sight. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beat as one in our peaceful flight. as one in our peaceful flight. The colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.